Hey everyone, I'm Rosie, Marketing and Communications for SpringGR. And for our SpringGR podcast, we've got Karla Velis-Brito, Director here at SpringGR, and we're going to talk about what drives our work.
Thank you, Rosie, for having me today.
Awesome. So let's talk about that, Karla. We talked, in our different episodes, we talk about the programming, we talk about the support for our alumni. But what really is behind the work we do? What drives us? What do we believe is truly at the core of entrepreneurship?
This is a big question because it is really what drives us. It's really what we wake up in the morning and go to SpringGR to do, right? And it comes from our values. It comes from what we all as staff, whether that be internal or external, and what we communicate to entrepreneurs. We say, we believe, we act, we do, right? And out of the different values that at SpringGR we portray, we live, there's two today that I want to focus. And one of them is embracing a growth mindset. And the second is, how do we value and celebrate people? So when we talk about embracing a growth mindset, it's about, hey, I might not be there, but I'm dreaming of that big accomplishment, whether it's in my business, whether that's in personally. So what's the next step? How do I embrace this, not as a challenge, but something that I can grow into?
That's wonderful, Karla, because you and I have talked about entrepreneurship can be a lonely journey.
And we have seen that through many of the cohorts and classes, right? And just our audience coming in and just feeling siloed, just doing their work on their own, but saying, even if it's lonely, how can you find a network at SpringGR with your coach, with other participants, where you embrace that, again, that mindset of it's lonely, but we're here to grow, we're here to support each other in that growth stage.
Right. And one of the things that we've also mentioned is sometimes even defining myself as an entrepreneur. What defines me? What defines me an entrepreneur? How do I know my side gig still makes me an entrepreneur, or my actual business, even with its ups and downs? I'm still learning. I'm still growing. It's not failing, but it's an evolution, a transformation of my business vision, of the vision moving forward.
Right. And you said something really important. It's that evolution, right? It's not a let's follow step A, B, C, and we're done. But it's a continuous growth, a continuous mindset, really, of here I am, but I want to get there. And once I get there, how can I also even give back from this? What is the next stage? And that, I think it's important that we talk about the mindset piece, because we talk in class about business and it's important, all the business acumen and education. But beyond that, what is the point of knowing all of it if you cannot apply it, or if you don't live it out, or if you don't actually believe it?
So that's interesting, because I'm not going to get into our programming and our business training models, but in talking with Arlene, we've talked about the pre-4-week class that focuses completely on mindset, 80% on the individual, 20% on the business, and then it flips. 80% on the business, 20% on the individual. Establishing that mindset piece. Some entrepreneurs who are under a lot of stress might be like, I just don't have time. Can we just get straight to the business? Why is mindset so crucial, even in a training session, as it is for us at SpringGR as defining one of our values?
Because it's really what drives us, that mindset. You can have, again, all the business education and knowledge. You can know great people in your network, you can be connected, you can make a lot of money at the end of the day, but if the mindset is not right, it's purposeless. If the mindset is not right, if there is no really truly that belief in yourself, if there is no understanding of why even you're doing it, then it becomes worthless. It's really become purposeless.
In life, we always talk about the why, right? In everything we do, we always start with the why. In communication best practice, we always start with the why, because it's the driver, because it's the reason for, right? So for a business owner, or for an entrepreneur, if a project fails, does that mean you failed as an entrepreneur? Or does that project evolve and you switch? And how many times in history have we seen successful businesses not start out the way they did?
They didn't, and in fact, they tried so many times, hundreds of times sometimes. I think it's interesting when you also mention what happens. How do I see when a project fails? Is this an opportunity for me to be resilient? Is this an opportunity for me to learn out of this for the next idea or for the next stage of that project? But it's all about, it comes again with the mindset, it comes with the habits, it comes with the values that we internally and externally believe that we can.
Now, alongside with business growth and mindset, we talk about celebrating the individual.
Right. And I love this value at SpringGR because we are constantly in the go, go, go. And just having that time to reflect and celebrate. Personally, that's something that I even struggle, because sometimes we're too busy with the next thing, and we accomplish, something that we dreamed of. But in the moment that it's a reality, we moved on. We move to the next thing. There's no time. There is no just energy to even celebrate it. But the importance of creating that habit, it's something that we do at SpringGR. It's something that we're intentional about. How do we celebrate entrepreneurs, our staff, who we are, and the milestones that we're reaching?
And I think it's a great point. Milestones, right? It's not even about the destination. It's about all these milestones along the way, that entrepreneurial journey. And we talk about this all the time. We meet entrepreneurs where they're at. So wherever you're at, it's defining that growth and celebrating that individual success, individual growth, not in comparison to anybody else, but to yourself. And I think that's something that I think is super interesting. So let's talk about celebration. Graduation happens at SpringGR every 14 weeks that a cohort completes its programming. It celebrates. Why are graduations so important for us at SpringGR? How do we celebrate our graduates?
We celebrate with a lot of food and music and all the fun stuff. But also we take a time to again reflect, right, on those milestones, and we recognize people by anything that they have grown after the program, anything that they have done that they even dream in the first class, and how far they've gotten after 14 weeks. We celebrate people just being able to believe in themselves. We celebrate people that stick to it, really, that show that commitment, that was on time, ready, met with their coach. We celebrate that creation of habits, that doing something new, scared maybe, but doing it.
And I think that's a wonderful point, Karla, because when we think about, and that's just upon graduation, post-graduation, it continues. This is actually one of the reasons for our podcast. We want to tell the stories of individuals being successful, of how far they come along, not because of SpringGR exclusively. Maybe there's been different partners in our community, but we celebrate them, their journey, their efforts, and how far their dream became a reality for them over the course of years, because growing isn't temporary, it's continual.
It's continual, yes. And it's not over, right, after a cohort. It goes back with, you have now all this knowledge too. How can you put it in practice, share with others, but also have the courage to ask for help? I think that's such a basic little thing that we struggle with. How can we ask for help? What if it's something that we have done? And again, going back to how lonely it could be, the journey of an entrepreneur, it's something that we're just used to do it by ourselves. Do we even have the habit to ask for help? And how does that look like?
Yeah.
And as simple as it sounds, it takes courage, but it's something that we again encourage people to do.
I think it's interesting because as individuals, celebrating your successes, your milestones is hard. Asking for help is hard. But I feel that when we throw on top the entrepreneurship piece, it's like a magnifying glass, because you can't do it alone.
You can.
And it's hard to do it alone. And, in other interviews, we talk about delegating responsibilities to helping you grow a business. How do you delegate those responsibilities, and how do you grow a business but also celebrate yourself and celebrate your team so that your team wants to be with you, wants to be a part of that journey. I think that's another good point when you mention, the growth of a business, the growth of an individual, the celebrating of these milestones and these accomplishments. Because if as an individual we don't do this, then we're probably not doing it for others either.
Right. Exactly. My mentor, she forces me to put on my calendar time to celebrate. And she asks me, what specifically are you going to do? And I usually even struggle. Well, I'm going to go out and have a nice dinner, or I'm going to do some activity outdoors. And I try to come up with ideas. And she pushes me, okay, what in your calendar is that going? And I think it's just so funny how we even have to block time to do that instead of creating slowly that habit of, can I reflect, can I celebrate? And in the celebration part, it's also the valuing, right? How do we value people? How do we value what we have accomplished internally? Maybe some things that nobody sees out there, but it's that, hey, I pushed myself and I did this. And it's something that might not be obvious to the eye out there or to the public, right? But how do I take the time to say, I'm growing and this is what it looks like?
And at SpringGR, we have mentors available to our graduates. I think that's a good point. It doesn't end with graduation, but your growth doesn't end with graduation. Then it becomes an implementation part, continued growth, continued certifications, and the support of a mentor. Obviously, if an entrepreneur would like that. And I think that's an important piece, right? Sometimes we forget because those internal little conversations we have with ourselves, they play a big role.
And the best part of that mentorship relationship, it's the kind of accountability piece, right? We say we'll do all these things. We write our SMART goals. We personally commit to it. But who's keeping us accountable? And who's also guiding us through that? And when things don't go the way we plan, who's around us? Who is it? Whether that be a mentor, a coach, that could be a family member, that could be your business partner. But who are those key people in your life cheering for you, supporting you, guiding you, and just helping you come back from anything that just doesn't go well? Because that's life, right? Sometimes it doesn't go how we expect or how we plan.
Exactly. And so how do we pivot? That was one of my favorite words in so many interviews we've conducted. It's how do you pivot? How do you pivot to make it successful? Because it's not the end. It could be a new, fresh start, a new beginning. And I think that we see this, at SpringGR, but we also see this, in our society. Every time it's a new year, so many new goals. But you don't have to do it alone. SpringGR is here to support you. And for the accountability piece, for the celebrating piece, for the valuing and celebrating your milestones, you don't have to go at it alone. You've got a team. We've got your back.
We got you.
That's right. Anything else that we should add for SpringGR's podcast session today?
I just want to say I'm really excited about this year being intentional, actually writing down how we will celebrate with our team. And how we will start incorporating those little things in graduation, in our class. How do we bring even new people to our team? And in that training piece, we communicate this. It's important for us to celebrate and value people. So I'm really excited about what's to come and to celebrate milestones.
And I'm excited that we'll have a space to celebrate and share stories of our own entrepreneurs, because it's not just about the team that makes it happen. It truly is more about the individuals putting in the work, putting in the effort, making it happen. And we want to share that with you too.
That is right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Karla. And this is one more episode of SpringGR's podcast. We will see you soon.